Okay. So in today's session, we're going to discuss about week 7. And if you have already gone through week 7, this touches the part like network security and network hardening. And we are familiar that what network security means. We want to secure our network, and then network hardening means if some kind of breaches happens in our network, then how we can harden our network so we can mitigate those issues. So the agenda is the same, like we will hit the flyby overview about these network security and hardening concepts. If you have any question and doubts, you can ask. We will perform some labs. And if there is anything new, I will talk about that as well. So first thing first, surprise quiz. Crystal and Hefa, if you can participate, what is Cia Triad? Or shall I? Yes, Crystal, go ahead if you can answer about Cia Triad.
No, right
No,
now,
no problem. This is the portion will be covered. So basically, it has to do with like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So these are the 3 legs known as for the security. These are the things that we require in every network. No problem. We will cover this one. IPS and IDS stand for at least, because I'm not going to ask what they do, but at least the abbreviations.
IPS is, oh my goodness, I forgot it.
No problem. No problem. I will do it for you. Intrusion prevention and intrusion detection.
Sorry.
Okay, so these are the no problem at all. Okay, you should be familiar.
What are DOS attack?
Yeah.
Deny of service.
Yeah, what they do?
They make the server busy. So
exactly.
That, yeah.
They flood the servers with a network.
Exactly. So basically, if somebody is, let's say, example, if I give you, if you are doing online banking and somebody performed DOS attacks on that banking website, so you will not be able to access any kind of resources. What is data integrity?
Data integrity is to assure that the data didn't change.
Yep, that's fine. What is ransomware?
It's when information is held for ransom.
Yeah, but what is it? It is virus or what?
It is, yeah, I guess a virus.
Yeah, it's a kind of virus that basically will ask, the person, the victim, to pay. Then they will reveal the resources or the application that is encrypted, by the way. So I will talk about ransomware in detail. What is Trojan horse?
It's when a virus is like sent into the system, but through, like, let's say you know me and I send you an email and I don't know that, like,
exactly. It will like trick a person, downloading something, and once he or she download the file, then it will do its task. What is social engineering?
Social engineering is a method that the attacker uses when he pretends to be someone and it's not to kind of.
Okay, Hefa?
Yeah, I would have to agree with what Crystal said, but also maybe it can be done through different methods. I know that there's like, you can do in-person social engineering, but you can also do it like electronically or over the phone.
Exactly. There are several methods. Basically, the whole idea behind social engineering is to gather information as much as possible. Okay, so let's officially start the slides. Can you see the pointer? Because most of the time pointer is hidden.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So today's complex environment and cyber threats. What does it mean? It means, we are bringing on devices, new devices. We have cloud computing intact. We have the social media. We have Internet of Things, and new technologies are emerging day-to-day basis. So with that, good things, bad things comes. So we have so many attacks, exploits, viruses, Trojans, every day these things are coming into play. So as the things are getting, complex, and more cyber threats are coming toward. So what cyber threats attacks are more aggressive, complex, and sophisticated. Could be disgruntled employee, crime rings, and nation state. They result in massive data exposure. So cyber threats could be dealt with not only with some person hacking from outside. It could be disgruntled employee as well, like some person inside the company who is unhappy with the company's policies. So he or she could become a threat for the company as. So whole idea behind this slide is, as we are getting new and new technologies, we are getting more and more threats. So if I take you to this website very quickly, and let me share that as well. Can you see, by the way, can you see this
Yes.
website?
Yes.
Yeah. So now you can imagine what is going on and what is happening. World's biggest data breaches and hacks. So this is a website, and the link is also in the presentation. And as you can see, how many breaches have been done from the Facebook.
Wow.
I don't know what this count is, but you can see record lost, phone numbers, full names, location, emails, addresses, and biographical information on 533 million users from 106 countries.
So most likely your emails are already, names are already there.
Exactly. So this is if you want, you can go a lot in detail, like Indian citizens. There are so many things. Brazil, this experience, Brazil, Twitter, from the Twitter, how much data is being stolen, and these. So these are the history and all information you can get from here. And by the way, this is in 2021. So I asked, what is Cia Triad? So this is like the very important concept used in cybersecurity, the Cia Triad, or 3 legs as well. It's also known as the 3-leg concept. So it is like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And what confidentiality is, like ensure no unauthorized party has access to the information. So like in your computer, do you want some outside intruder gain the access of your computer and get the access of all your photos, videos, and these all things? So the most important part in CIA is confidentiality. So you want to secure everything. For example, the privacy solution is what? Encryption. And we know if we familiar a little bit about the VPN, one of the most important part that is discussed in VPN is confidentiality. And the protocol that is used to perform the confidentiality are like AES, DES, and 3DES. And these are the protocols that are also being used in the VPN as well for the encryption purpose. Then we have integrity, as Christel said, that whatever the data that is going across the cable, so somebody intruder get that data and make some changes. So he or she can make some changes into that. So we do not want that as well. So ensure that the information is not altered in storage or while in a transit. So the mechanism that is used for integrity are Md5 or SHA. If I give you very quickly example of this one from the website, how Md5 basically look like, you can go to any website and type like Md5 hashing. Then, for example, this is the Md5 hash generator. So basically what it will do, let's suppose I type some data like, hello, how are you? And click on a generate. Now you will see this is like the hash is generated against this text. This one, which is Md5 hash. Another format is SHA-1. So that is a little bit large because it's like, it uses a better block size as compared to Md5. And this one is much more secure as compared to Md5. So these are the hash generated against these just 1, 2, 3, 4 string value. Okay, so if I just copy this one and just to show you that, just a minute. And I have pasted this one. And if I'll just put dot at the end and generate, it means somebody has altered this data. If you cannot see this one, I just make it like this one. So I just put the dot, that's it. And you will see the effect here. This one has totally changed, by the way. Can you see the notepad?
Yes.
Yeah. So this one, when I type, how are you without dot? But you can see and notice that how, the things have changed in Md5 just by putting one dot. So these mechanisms are used, for the integrity of the data. So the data has not been changed in transit. Then we have the availability, and we are familiar what availability is. I mean, the information or the resource is available to the authorized person or the party when needed. So the example could be the load balance. For example, if one system is down, we have another system already in a place. So we have the data always available there. So these things are known as a Cia Triad. Then let's talk about the defense in depth, also known as DID. So the challenge is there are so many threats and no single application can effectively manage these threats. Hence, layered approach is used to mitigate such issues. As you can see in the diagram, we have the data because this is the thing we want to secure all the time. So then we have this layered approach. We have application security on top of data, then we have host security, then we have network security best practices like hardening the switches, routers, then we have parameter security, like it is, if you have a very good visuals, it is mentioned like VLAN segmentations, IPS firewalls. Then we have this physical security, basically like just like the lockers, we have could be CCTV cams, logs, then non-technical layer, which has to do with the policy planning and training. So we have like the layered approach, just to do what? Just to secure our data. So that is the thing is known as defense in depth. So just it's giving the definition. Defense in depth is used variety of methods to secure an organization. Likewise, firewall, we will use like firewalls, packet sniffer, packet shapers, and spam filter, and IPS, IDS, sensors, and so many things, just to protect our data. Then we'll talk about the threat classification. So basically we have mainly two threats. One is internal and one is external. Internal, I have already talked about the threats that come from your own organization. And these are the most dangerous. Sometimes people think that external threats are dangerous. No, the threats that are coming from our own organization are more dangerous. Why? Because people have a knowledge about that. What servers you are using, what kind of application you are using. You can just plug even the USB drive into some others employee having some kind of viruses in that. So internal threats are more dangerous and you can deploy it easily. While the external threats, we know the threats that are coming from outside. Could be like denial of services or spam, something like that. So the potential threats are like hackers. We have white hat hackers, we have gray hat hackers, and black hat hackers. And from the name, it suggests like black hat, something is invisible. Means people, those are just doing some bad things, are known as a black hat hackers. White hat hackers basically organization hire or third party people do outsource as well. Organizations do outsource as well for the white hat hackers, and they will come to your organization and your GM or CEO will brief him about whatever the device is being used in your network, and then he will run some kind of applications that usually these hackers they use to just check whether the devices that are running in the organization are secure or no. So those are people are good, known as a white hat hackers. Then we have a in between gray hat hackers that comes in white hat as well as in the black hat as well. Like in the morning they are doing a good jobs, but at night who knows that they are doing black hat kind of things. Then the term that often used script kiddies. This could be even me, this could be you, or this could be any person who even does not have any knowledge about the hacking. So what these guys do, they will download third-party softwares, okay, third-party applications or some scripts, and they will run just to attack the appliances or hardware or devices. So these are known as the script kiddies. Then we have disgruntled employee, as I have already mentioned, that if some person in the organization is not happy, so he could also be a potential threat for an organization. So let's talk about these viruses, Trojan horses a little in detail. So what is virus? A computer virus is a type of malware that propagates by inserting a copy of itself into and becoming a part of another program. So as the virus, enters inside the computer, it just spread itself, just creating the multiple copies and copies and copies into the system. So it's spread from one computer to another computer as well. So you might be familiar if one computer is infected and you just plug some USB device or external hard disk device, you will notice that that will also be corrupted. So that, which is because of this virus, because it has a nature of spreading automatically. So leaving infectious as it travels. Virus can range in severity from causing mildly annoying effects, damaging data or software, causing, for example, like the denial of service conditions as well. So of course, if in computer, if virus has attacked some of your files or application, of course, you will not be able to use those softwares application. So it kind of denial of service as condition as well. Then ransomware, as the HEFA said correctly, that ransomware is a type of malicious software that threatens to publish the victim's data or perpetually block access to unless a ransom is paid. So ransomware is what, and I have been the victim of this ransomware as well. I had so many images, applications, and videos, application softwares were in my computer. So once this ransomware attacked my computer, for example, if the image is there, let's say the image name is 123.jpg. And the one video file name is like video.mp4 or .avi. So what this ransomware will do, it will just do the encryption, which is the strongest one. It will do the encryption and will encrypt this whole image or the file into something like garbage x123 dot some with some extension. Even if you try to change this extension to JPEG, it won't work. When you'll try to open this file, you will get a kind of, a pop-up. It's mentioned that if you want to recover this file, you have to pay using this Bitcoin, something like that. And usually these people, they use dark web. And dark web, as the name suggests, just like www. Okay, this is another thing, like you will use a Tor browser to or with the help of some VPN services. If this service is blocked, then you will use Tor or in combination of the VPN to access this dark web, and you can access, some hidden websites.
And this is where people do all this, when they they steal something, they want to sell it now. That's where the dark web websites are there to do this kind of transaction between each other. Very scary stuff, but that is how they are making money right now.
Exactly. And that is the reason ransomware attacks, if you want to pay, you will have to pay from dark web using Bitcoin or whatever the method they have defined.
If I'm not mistaken, the dark web is different than the deep web, and the deep web is where
exactly both are same. Happen. No, these are same things. Yeah, deep web, dark web.
But the dark web is not always. It's not always negative things. Sometimes
no, it is not. No.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Well, most of the time, it's kind of like it is negative, but yeah, in some places, because look, if it's a government that you want to hide yourself from, but you're doing a good stuff, like good cause type of thing, right? Then yeah, people do use it for that purposes too, because then you don't want to be tracked by them. So yes, it can be used that way.
Yeah. So even if you want, you can put your web server on the dark web as well, if you want. Even the botnets, most of the botnets and these all script kitties. This in earlier slide, I talked about the script kitties. You can download.
I just want to verify. One other thing is that I think what Haifa was asking, deep web is kind of like the what do you call it, like the umbrella of that. So dark web would be like a part of it. So it's not like it's a part of it, but it's not the same thing. Yeah, it's like a big. You can say a term. So
Okay.
there are many other terminologies under deep web, because that's a pretty, that's the whole dark side of it, basically.
It's like a broad terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you pay from dark web to this ransomware person, they are not going to communicate with you. Okay, so they are just making you fool with that. Then we have this Trojan. As I mentioned, it's a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. Users are typically tricked into loading and executing it on their system. For example, popping up windows, changing desktop, deleting files, something like that. So it will appear as a pop-up on your web browser or somewhere. And like, sometime they ask you, there is a virus in your computer. So this is a free software, just download it. And basically that that application is having these harmful Trojans as well. So you are not only installing that software, but also these Trojans as well. Then we have bots, and we do remember we talked about zombies and bots in a denial of services, as well as the DDoS. So basically in DDoS, it's most of the time we use these bots. So what are these? These are like, as I mentioned, the word derived from the word robot, and is automated process that interacts with other network services. Bots often automate tasks and provide information or service that would otherwise be conducted by a human being. A typical use of bot is to gather information. So this is the typical use, gathering the information. Other than that,
and also it's being used in a normal kind of like a web crawler type of bots, where you have Google, and let's say we have job skill share website. Google will have kind of a crawler bots. So they do is indexing your website. So you have a new content, you put it on a website. There's going to be different bots from Yahoo, from Microsoft, from Google, from so many other big and there are just normal bots out there that will just gather information, put it on the web. And so for that reason, you would have a better structural approach when you're building a website. So then it's not always bots running on your website, right? So if you don't want too much of that kind of traffic, then you can make some kind of structure on your website to tell the bot that this is my data, this is how I want to give it to you, and this is how you should get it. So a lot of people confuses these two with this, and other bots are just what it's used for. Like they would have network bots that try to look for information for malicious purposes.
Yeah. Then this slide continues, and we have APT, advanced persistent threats. And I do remember I discussed this in earlier slides as well. So it's a set of stealthy and continuous computer hacking process, often orchestrated by a person targeting a specific entity. And APT usually targets either private organizations, states, or both of the business political motives. So if you are familiar, you can search out about the Stuxnet as well. Just a minute, Stuxnet. This is kind of APT threat that deployed in Iranian.
Oh, I was just going to say, is this the one that disarmed the Iranian, what was
exactly.
it?
Yeah. That was Iranian a power plant, I think, or this is what's called for
Nuclear, I think.
Nuclear.
I think it
nuclear
disarmed the nuclear reactor.
Exactly. So that was a nuclear plant, and these APT were like installed a kind of rootkit as a rootkit. And what rootkit is, like if you are going to install some kind of hardware in your computer, like a hard disk, VGA card or something, they will they will penetrate this rootkit into that, so they can check the activities, everything. So that was the Stuxnet as a virus, or the rootkit installed in those nuclear plants, their appliances basically. And that basically made that hardware devices, like they heat up those devices and then cool down, heat up and cool down, something like that. And it was like a fault, and they had to shut down that plant for the time being. So this is like advanced persistent threat. Then we have an adware, as the name suggests. It's like kind of advertisement, like software that generates revenue for its developer by automatically generating online advertisements. So it will also like making you fool into thinking that this is something like legitimate website or something like that. But once you will go there, it will be something else, and you will end up by downloading some kind of malicious softwares. Then we have a backdoors, an undocumented way of accessing a system. Of course, it will not be documented, by the way. So what hackers they will do, for example, we do remember in Microsoft Word, we had one icon which is mentioned macro, basically used to automate the thing. So these hackers, they took the benefit of this macro, and they they penetrated these kind of viruses as a backdoor. So once they will run this macro, maybe some port behind the scene will be open. Let's say like telnet port, before it was closed, but now telnet port is open with just by running this macro. So now this backdoor is open, and the hacker basically can take the benefit of this backdoor and can access the system. Then we have these DOS and DDoS attacks, malicious attempts by one or more people to cause the victim site or node deny services to its customer. And I have already talked about this as well. So let's talk about the IDS and IPS. So what are the benefits of using IDS and IPS? These are basically the hardware appliances. This is known as intrusion detection and intrusion preventions. So benefits of using IDS and IPS are this is a sensor monitor, unusual suspicious activities. So whatever the suspicious activities are approaching this device, it will just keep monitoring those. It will perform analysis to identify violations, incidents, and possible attempt attacks. IDS and IPS could be host or network based, which will send logs to the centralized log repository machine for SOC team to analyze. So IDS will detect and generate log, while IPS will prevent the attack. So what basically it is saying, sometime we have network based IDS, and in the next slide, it is basically, I'm going to give you a little more detail, but just as an overview, as mentioned, there is a host base as well. If I give you host based example of IDS or IPS, just like we have antivirus, any kind of antivirus installed, it is a host based, means whatever the information that is being generated from your own machine, it will very quickly get the idea or will sense about that suspicious activities and will block. While on other hand, we have the network based. The network based not only for the particular host, but it will be like in between device. And then we have multiple LAN host. And let's say this is IDS or IPS sensor device installed, which is connected with the router. And then router is connected with some ISP, let's say. So whatever the information as that coming in or going outside, this is the responsibility of IDS or IPS to sense or to monitor. But sometimes, as it is mentioned, the IDS will only detect about these logs, means it will not take any kind of action like IPS will do. So IPS is a complete, solution. It will not only detect, but prevent from those attacks as well. But in case of IDS, what possibility could be? IDS sensor will just sense those issues. For example, there are some multiple issues arrived. And then this IDS then will be connected with some kind of firewall. So these logs will be sent to the firewall, and then firewall will have kind of database or the signature kind of things. So it will keep update and will prevent those logs. So this is known as like the centralized log repository machine. Identify incidents could be, so what incidents it will handle? It will handle this IPS or IDS, like Trojans, denial of service attacks. We have active and passive attacks as well, SQL injections, then cross-site scripting as well, reconnaissance attacks. This is also another name of social engineering, by the way, social engineering. Then we have insider attacks and unauthorized logins as well. So the possibility is some person inside the organization, there is another PC. So this person is trying to access this system because this person is sitting inside the organization and he has very good knowledge about this system. So once he or she will try to access this system, the log will be generated into IPS device, and system admin can get those logs and will take the action. So as I mentioned in earlier slide as well, this is host-based intrusion detection and this is network-based intrusion detection. So host-based monitor only single host, network-based monitor whole network. Since IDS is on the host, operating system work much faster. And of course, if this host-based intrusion detection is on this system itself, it will work much more faster than this one, which is network-based IDS system. Because the action will be taken directly on this host machine. While if this host machine is being attacked, then first it will go to this IDS machine, first of all, then it will take the action. And maybe then we have thousands and thousands of devices connected. And this single host network-based IDS system is taking care of these all devices. So you just can imagine the impact.
Yeah, and so for we use, like currently in the modern world, you have everything kind of separate solution. For network, you gotta have a network solution in place. For endpoints, you're gonna have that network taking care of the network side, but on one endpoint is gonna be some kind of agents running on it, whether
exactly.
It's connected to the network again to do something, or maybe a cloud solution. For example, we already talked about Cisco AMP protection. Remember last lecture we talked about Windows Defender solution these days. So it goes to the cloud now. So if people are, because these people may have a very knowledgeable or experts sitting out there doing this kind of stuff, so then this will lower the stress of a normal network engineer, because you may be working for a company and, hey, you know, am I going to really do some kind of analysis now and try to understand what's going on? Or should we go for some product that they already have a very solid team out there and they can do these things for them? So this is a mixed environment these days. So we have both now, network, we have endpoints, we have even cloud protection these days. So you use everything together to kind of counter different attacks and protections out there.
Yeah. So what Danish said, if I give you example and you can take it as an assignment as well, which is known as IBM Q Radar. So basically what happens in IBM Q Radar, we have like thousands and thousands of devices. So the agent, which Danish just talked about, the agent will be installed on every host machine. And then we have, let's say this is the IBM hardware appliance here. Okay, so its functionality is just collecting those data from the agents. So agents are basically just like a host-based intrusion prevention systems. Basically, they are just getting those logs or pulling those logs and sending it to the this main device, which will take the action. So you can further read on IBM Q Radar how it works, and then you will have a better understanding about these agents. And then we have signature-based ideas, and we are familiar that if we talk, even if in your computer, if you go to like if, for example, Norton antivirus or some another kind of antivirus install, you will see they have kind of database that is sitting outside in the cloud. Okay, it will have kind of signatures, every virus that comes have a signature. So basically when the data comes inside your host machine or any device, your antivirus basically going to match the pattern against these signatures. If it is fine, it will be sent into the quarantine, or maybe will be deleted. So they have like these kind of database and multiple these signatures. So that's why, this is a very good practice. Every time you log in, you need to go into the antivirus software and just update the application or that signature database either automatically or forcefully. So it will resync with the latest updates of the signature databases. So if any kind of new virus, Trojan, or malware will hit your computer device, it will just check from the pattern. If the pattern is matched, this will be blocked, the virus will be blocked or will be deleted. So as mentioned that Cisco-based IDS appliances primarily use signature-based IDS. As the traffic passes through, it detects a pattern, but it should be resynced with the databases. Signature engine, the parser read all the test description of the signature, looks for a malicious activities in a network stream. So IDS use signature database with several signature engines. So it has multiple signature engines that it will pull the data from. Then we have monitoring and analysis. Of course, some person required to check the monitoring or analysis for whatever is happening in the IPS or IDS. It means the human interaction is also required. Although IPS or IDS will do it automatically, everything will be done. But of course, we need kind of human interaction to check what is going on, what are the logs. Maybe sometime one thing is known as false positive. false, positive. Like maybe IDS is thinking that that is a virus, but that is not basically. That is something else that is being used in our network as well. So that thing is known as a false positive. So that thing is like basically you can capture from monitoring and doing monitoring and analysis. Basically, which has multiple logs. You can go through those logs one by one, or you can filter out those logs and then you can find out whatever that you are looking for. So basically what is saying, IDS and IPS are constantly gathering data. So the network administrator has a lot of tools to manage all the data, like generating using IDS, reporting via SDD, which is Security Device Event Exchange. Basically that is, it's mentioned here, while SD is a protocol. Basically it is a protocol that sends message between the security devices and monitoring systems. So we have this security device here. Let's say ASA firewall. Then we have one kind of, let's say IDS, intrusion detection system. Or could be some monitoring device, monitoring system. Like one of very famous is like Alerta, which I will show you. So the Alerta will generate the logs and will send those data to who? The ASA to take some action. So that thing which will perform these things like coming back and forth, these information is done using STEE protocol. Then gathering via syslogs. Of course, the syslog itself is it's a protocol that will gather all the logs information. If we talk about, if you are familiar with the Nagios, then we have a SolarWinds as well.
Yeah, and then SolarWind is very famous when it comes to logs and stuff like that, because it's the company is used for that type of work, like monitoring, management, things like that, and other tools too, because it depends on how deep you have to work on this type of work in your environment. But I can guarantee you that you have to use some type of tools in network engineering jobs, like the logs, syslogs, whether you use SolarWinds, you have to know how to go back to the logs. It's just that you will get stuck so many times in your career, like at firewall level, or maybe something normal. People just can't get into something because there's something going on, but you have to know the answer, right? You have to get, okay, somebody's doing this one thing, somebody's trying to log into somewhere, but they're not able to do it. And another security person says, oh, you know what? I'm not blocking this from a, let's say, filter level. I'm not blocking that on my firewall. And then you'll be like scratching your head. Okay, now I need to get back to the logs. Okay, I need to know why from first connection to the last action. I want to see what happens. And that is where you need to know these tools like SolarWinds or things like that nature. So it's very important, by the way.
And by the way, these syslogs, even in a Cisco router switches, easily you can, if you enable debug with the debug command, these syslogs will be generated and you can take a look. And I hope in this session, we are gonna do that as well. I will show you how debugs look like. And then we have analysis via SIEM. That is also a very good term and interview question as well. They ask what is SIEM, which is stand for Security Information and Event Management System, which I talked about earlier, like IBM Q Radar. Q Radar. That is a device for security information and event management. So whatever the event or logs will be generated will be sent to this IBM Q Radar for a deep inspection. So it's mentioned how things work. First, IDS will generate an alarm when an attack signature is triggered. Then alarm will stored and can be examined locally or using some other applications, which I'm going to show later, which could be like ZLAN. For example, your local firewalls logs, you can view your logs using ZLAN. Then we have Splunk as well. Okay, so these are third-party applications. After an attack signature fires, the device can send syslog message using SDE, which I have already mentioned. So analyzing tool. So basically, everybody is familiar that every computer has a firewall, the local firewall, and in the last I do remember in week 5th module, I showed you that firewall as well, where I blocked one of the website. So that is a host-based Windows firewall. And you know, it is just blocking everything or whatever you have mentioned in that firewall. But sometimes you need to take a look of those logs as well. What is going on? What is happening? Maybe if you are working as a network administrator in your production environment, you are running kind of application and you are confused that what is the thing that is stopping that, that application. Means why firewall is stopping that. So you can use this very good and simple tool, which is known as ZLAN. So if you want to download that log file for your Windows firewall, this is a path. You can go see Windows System 32 log files and then firewalls. You will get a notepad kind of file, which is mentioned like P firewall .log file, which you can just import into this ZLAN to just take a look, which I'm going to show you. So just a minute, let me start that file. Can you see the landing page?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is not so much going on. You can see it's a blank, but what you need to do, you need to go edit settings and then under browse, you need to browse that file that I mentioned that I have already copied and pasted into my desktop. So click on that, open and click OK. So still there is nothing going on. What you need to do, file, run F5. Just click on either press F5 from the keyboard or just from the file, hit run. So very quickly, it will show you a lot of details, like when that data is arrived. This is all the information. Okay, then we have the time, specific time when that data is arrived, and this is the action. And if you remember, I performed some action like block that website, and that website was blocked. So you can take a look of these as well, these all things. Then what kind of protocol that is being allowed or denied, you can take a look from here. Then we have like the source IPs, from where this data was sourcing from. What was the destination? As it is mentioned, these are public IPs and local IPs as well. Then source port and destination port as well. Then we have the size, which is basically empty. Then we have some flags, TCP sync, TCP ACK, these all TCP ICMP code and the path information. Then these are like, these things is known as the top talkers. So this is like a brief overview. This is known as the top talkers. What are the top talkers or the application that are in process or being used? And this is just the GUI. So as you can see from here, the TCP 443 ports, how many packets are being sent from 443, which are 5044. Okay, and we know this is for the secure protocol. Then UDP 53 for the DNS, how many information is being sent. Then these are some other very good information as well.
Just a learning tip over here. You see how important it is to learn these protocols like from in the beginning, because if you look at just this one application, there's a lot of data in there, right? And most of the time when you go to the companies, they have something like this implemented. So you're not going to be the first person to implement these things most of the time, right? Because that's why you're getting as a junior level network engineer. So if you didn't know, or you're not confident about what is TCP, what is UDP, what does destination IP means, what does the source IP means, and when you look at these IP addresses, can you differentiate between a private and a public IP? You see, if you didn't know all this stuff, it would be really hard for you to understand anything in future, because that's what you're going to be using in most of these different type of companies. They have something like this and they go by these logs. So I just want you to just bring that memory back to you, that why it is so important for you guys to go back if you are not comfortable with or not confident enough to understand what these protocol means. You should go back and study more about it, because then that's where when you see an application like this, I instantly know what it means. So it becomes very easy for you to learn things in future. Just a little tip, so you have that little memory. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Danish. Then we have like source IPs information, top rows by conversation, who person or the IP is communicating most. Then this by the protocol. So like they have like divided those into the portion, whatever we have seeing here. Then this is like GUI, whatever is mentioning here. They are showing in graphical. The possibility is like your maybe your boss want to know what is the protocol or application that is being used most of the time in our networking. So what you can do, you just can take a picture of this thing and you can show the TCP is the application that is being used most in our environment. Then we have some kind of protocol like we have TCP, UDP, but some like it's mentioned too. If you are confused what that thing is, what you can do, you can click this thing in the blue in the bottom. And then you can come under the protocols. Yeah. So if you are confused what that two thing is, you can correlate it with this one, which is IGMP, stand for Internet Group Management Protocol. So there is a list of the protocols. You can go through what these things are. And okay. So another part which let's show you very quickly, which I'm talking about the Splunk. So what Splunk is also very similar like this ZLAN, but this is a lot like it is having a plethora of information inside it you can play with. So Splunk is used for monitoring and searching through big data. So if you have like for in this ZLAN case, you have, you know, a very bunch of data, but in case of Splunk, you might have, as mentioned, the big data like in a GBs. So you can do indexing, correlate information in that container, make it searchable and make it possible to generate alerts, reports, and visualization. So everything is possible in a Splunk. So very quickly, I will show you how it looks like. So this is like, you know, web-based application but you need to install it on your own device. And this is how you are gonna access it using 127, which is your own IP with the 8000 as a port. So you need to enter your credentials here and click sign in. Actually, it is running very slow because I have some issues. If I can click on this message, if you have any kind of issues, it will mention here. It's saying that minimum free disk space is this reached by C program. Means if I can show you my computer, and you will see everything is flooded. So that is the reason this application is very slow. If I will remove some files from that, then it will work very fast. So this is how it will look like. We have apps here. It has multiple apps. It will just not do search and reporting or monitoring and analysis. If you click on this find more apps, just click on that. So as you can see, there is a plethora of applications you can install, like IT operations related category, security and fraud compliance, business analytics, utilities, IoT related, DevOps. There are so many things. For example, if you just click on IoT related industry. So these are the add-ons you need to install in this application that will work, and you can play with this application. So to go back, just click on this Splunk Enterprise. Then these are the few tags. I just walk you through about these things very quickly because this is very advanced. If you want self-paced study, you can go through and you can dig deep about this application, Splunk, what it does. So this is administrator tag. You want to change some kind of preferences. For example, you want to change the look and feel. For example, if I go preferences in a global settings, you can change the time zone as per your location. Then we have a default application, that is home. For example, if some person is so much into Python kind of thing or monitoring console of things, he can select monitor console and apply these settings. After that, if you will go onto the dashboard, you will see the dashboard is flooded with this monitoring kind of things like Splunk Enterprise Server, this Windows, this GB physical memory. So once you will enter into this, this will be the landing page. Like you can change the landing page. Further, for example, what I like, I just keep it. For example, this search and reporting. Apply this one. And then click on this Splunk icon. Now you can see the look and feel has been changed. So you can just quickly whatever you want to search about the logs, monitoring to or something like that, you can do it from here. Then we have under settings, we have knowledge base, database, systems, user and authentications, any roles or users you can create from here, any kind of licensing thing you can do from here, any kind of like data inputs you can do from here, or any kind of like events, tags, fields, all the information you can get from this one. This is the same monitoring console that I showed you earlier. If I click on that one, so this is the same. It will show how much data disk size has been utilized. What are the concurrent searches, what is the CPU usage being used by this Splunk, memory usage, and so many things. Then under settings, if you go to this add data, this is the most important part. If you click on this one, so these are the three most important tasks here. Most of the time being used is upload. Then we have monitor and forward as well. This is just like the Danish talked about the agents. So you can install the forwarder into the host machines as well. That will basically generate the logs that will be sent to this Splunk machine. So this is files from my computer. If I click on the upload, so this is a select source. Like in case of ZLAN, what we did, we uploaded the file, which is pfsense.log file. So the same thing you can do from here. You can like select this, for example, this any access log file, and then you can click next. I will not gonna do because I know I did it and it stuck because of this size. I'm having issues. So you can upload, then it will select the source type, input settings, review, and done. Once you are done, you will see the same kind of things like we have seen here, like this. Okay, but a lot in detail. Here, the problem is you cannot do indexing, you cannot search, you cannot merge two fields. Okay, so in Splunk, basically, this is just like a relational database systems. If you are familiar with, you just can merge two things together just to make it one. So you can take a decision on the basis of two items. Okay, so that's it. I think this is enough for Splunk. And I just gave you a very flyby overview. Further, if you are interested in it, you just can go download Splunk Enterprise Edition. This is like, a few megabytes of file size, and you can run on your Windows machine.
Another tip that I want to add is consider this to be like one of those tools that impresses other people to pick your resume. If you put Splunk in there, trust me, you are going to be taken a little serious than a person who just says, I have done my CCNA, right? Or I have done my any other Security Plus certification. A lot of people go into a lot of details about Splunk when you go into security side. This is where it's being used heavily. But Splunk is also used by network engineers to do some of that, ASA logs or stuff like that. They do use that. So if you want to be out there, if you want someone to really, you want to grab their attention, then this is one of the keywords in your resume that will make a big difference. Splunk in itself have titles with some of the big companies. You can make over 80K right now in the US if you are a very good Splunk administrator. Just they're going to call you Splunk administrator. You can search it now on Indeed.com.
Yeah.
It has 15,000 tags on that, just that word, 15,000. That's a lot of key attachment. So if you just type Splunk, there's 15,000 jobs. Most of the jobs are security, and some of the jobs are more of like a little higher level, like sysadmins or network engineer jobs. So you can see the benefit of this application, just like you guys have used Active Directory, Office 365 for the help desk jobs. This is exactly the same concept, using some type of tool that I know, managers know, directors know, and they'll respect you because now you have something a little high level skill that a lot of people don't know about it, or they'll need to learn about it when they start working.
Yeah, thank you, Danish. So let's talk about these things like TCP Sync Flooding. Any idea from you what is TCP Sync Flood attacks and what they can affect in our systems? Anyone?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I know that with TCP, we have to acknowledge when we send a, can I say frame? We have to receive and acknowledge. So TCP Sync Flood, when you send a many frame, they have to be received. I mean, they have to be acknowledged before sending the next one.
Yep. You said TCP frames, but you remember what we use term in the TCP in that layer?
TCP is layer 4. Is it segment?
Yeah, yes. So you have to be, more specific when you're saying frame, something like that. But, they use interchangeably, by the way. But for the professionals, we have to be like specific. But overall, your concept is right. This is just like denial of services attacks. Here, attacker is sending so many TCP sync, okay? Because we know for the TCP communication, we have sync, then sync ACK, and then final ACK. So basically what happens, this attacker will send only these things, sync and sync ACKs. So it's just continually saying to this system, I want to sync, and system will be saying, okay, sync ACK, but it is not gonna ACK. It is keep sending so many sync ACKs at one time in like a fraction of a second, that whatever the device that is providing kind of services, resources will not be able to entertain the users, the legitimate users. If I give you a very simple example, like in case of this, we have like wireless LAN access point. And if I send tons and tons of TCP sync floods to this access point machine. So if some legitimate administrator will try to access the landing page of this access point, he will not be able to because of these sync attacks. So basic purpose, like they are not gonna steal any kind of things. So basic idea is they are trying to you're preventing the legitimate user basically accessing their own resources. So the mitigation is you can prevent sync flood attacks by installing IPS, and we know that what IPS is. Configuring your firewalls, installing up-to-date network equipment, and installing commercial monitoring tools. And we have discussed about these all things.
Yeah, and the new techniques are that your server is under some type of cloud server. So for example, Cloudflare is one of the biggest one out there. So let's say if you're trying to attack JSS job skill share, Cloudflare is in between the attacker and our server. So if the sync flood is attacking this site, in between there's another layer, that's a cloud layer, right? So if it find out that this is not a right connection, so it's going to drop it even before getting to our original servers. So these are the new techniques a lot of people are using, and that actually is the way people are doing it. Even if you have some kind of blocking techniques on a Rail server, if I know that I have your Rail server now, this means I can attack it from hundreds of machines, thousands of machines if I have the capability, right? So how long is your IPS going to work for that? It's gonna also be out of what do you call it? It's just going to give up on it at some point. So this is a very important concept these days, that knowing about the cloud technologies is also crucial for a lot of these companies, because if you go to a company right now, 90% of the time you're going to find out that they're under some type of Cloudflare type of protection. And then you have to see that part as well. And I think in one of my videos or demos with this video, when I upload it, I'm going to show that how this, the DDoS and SYN floods are being managed by this type of
Great.
solution. So I'll do that as well.
So I have also added one image which is mentioned. This is from some wireless LAN router. So this is just one single click. DOS protection. Just enable this one and that's it. So if somebody is trying to do TCP sync flood attacks to your router, they will not be able to, because this is protected machine now. So I have a TCP sync flood attack demo for you. This one application is known as low orbit ion cannon. Ion cannon basically. So basically you will put the IP and will log on and will launch the attack from here. So from here you can increase the size of those attacks as well. So very quickly, I'm going to show you that as well. And meanwhile, I will add a packet tracer as well. Sorry, not packet tracer, Wireshark. So that will show you visually as well. So what is happening inside our network. So if I click, where is that thing has gone? Just a minute. I guess that is removed by my antivirus, unfortunately.
While you do that, Kamran, let me take over and I can show them
the
Cloudflare side of it. Maybe there's something, if you don't have it now, you can add that later on in recording.
Okay, meanwhile, yeah, you do it, and meanwhile I will search from my location if it is lost somewhere.
So let me, can you guys hear me actually clearly?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and stop sharing, Kamran, and I'll take over.
Sure.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things that we have discussed so far, and maybe this will give you some visual understanding of how things are happening. Portion of screen, let's see. All right, can you guys see the screen right here?
Cloudflare?
Yes.
Yeah, Cloudflare. So in the beginning, he was talking about firewall, right? So this is kind of like a modern way of doing things. Most of the companies are using it this way. So a lot of people have websites, servers, and so many different things that if I know that, okay, Hefa, you have a website and you have a server in your in this company, and I know where it's running from, it's really easy for me to attack that, right? That's your source. That's your real IP. So I can just send thousands of requests. I can send it from thousands of, let's say, requests to really exhaust that server. And what's going to happen to that server? Will it able to work, or will it just go down, right? Of course, it's going to not work because all of the services are exhausted on that web browser or whatever you're using. So now tell me one thing, that if I know your website and I know your servers, IP addresses and everything, and let's say I want to attack that server, how would you manage that attack? If you feel like say I'm the attacker right now and you have a website, it's a question for both of you. How would you manage that? Like, how would you find that out? What kind of things would you try first? Anyone?
Us being the attackers?
What's that, sorry?
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please? I don't think I understood.
Sure. Let me draw this right here a little bit. So if I have,
We can't see
There. Can you guys see this now?
It's blank.
Yeah. It's
okay.
White.
So let's say this is your company. Okay. Can you guys see my drawing?
Yes.
Okay. And let's say this is your company, and inside your company, this is a server, a web server. Under this web server, you have a web server running, and here is a website that is basically accessible to the whole world. So now, question to you both is that this is your website. I know that, right? I'm an attacker right here, sitting somewhere outside of this country, and I want to attack this website. So I'm gonna find out, okay, this is your website. It's called hefa.com. I know that it's hefa.com. I can find an IP address. So by doing a simple ping and everything, I found that you are running your website under this server. So I found out that this is the IP address, the real IP of this server. If I want to attack this, let's say whatever, Sync Flood or DDoS attacks, so what would you do as a systems or network engineer? What would you do to me? Like, how would you try to figure out or try to cut me down or whatever you want to do to make sure that I don't mess this website? What would you do? What kind of things would you need to find out?
Your vulnerabilities? Like the how our system is vulnerable and where attacks can be made.
But I'm already attacking your system right now. I'm already attacking your website.
I mean, I feel like the easiest thing would be to take it offline, but I don't know if that's correct.
Let's say you can't take it offline because you have so many people that you know is there. Like this is an attack going. This is not hacked or anything. This is
a honeypot.
So far, nah.
Okay, those are all my guesses.
Okay, no problem. Christelle, like you are attacking right now. You didn't hack it. You know that this is not hacked website. You're being attacked by this person, and you know it's giving you some problems because your site is getting slower because now the connections are getting filled up because of this guy is trying to shoot it again and again and again and again.
Yeah, if I can identify the attacker, I will block him.
Identify, good approach. But how would you identify? What kind of stuff are we talking about?
Usually, if you know your IP address, I mean the IP address of the company, the device that you have in your company, if you know about that, so it will be like an unknown IP, and you can block him.
Okay, not your IP, this guy's IP, right?
Yeah.
You need to know that IP address. So you're going to find out, if you go back to lecture, what did we talk about today? It was all about logs. It was all about monitoring, right? IDS, IPS, logs, or different type of things, firewalls. So yes, you have to then, as an engineer, first to open up those type of logging systems, or even in this web server, you would have commands to run that, okay, what kind of connections keep getting hit, but it's not easy to just go for every single connection. You have to have some kind of tool, right? So let's just assume that you are using those type of tools, that Splunk is there. He showed you that single standalone, application. So you found out an IP address of this person. The simple solution is yes, you will block it, right? So then there's no way this person can attack you because the main IP of this person is blocked, right? Yes. Correct, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so now what if this person is so smart that he's using some zombies? There are about more than 1,000 machines, and each and every one have a different IP address, and everybody's attacking your website. Now, how would you block that?
Are they sending the same type of file?
Same type of file? No, it's just connections. They're just hitting your website. They just want to open your website because your port 80 or 443 is open, right? So you cannot block your port there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. They just want to connect to it. But there's so many, it's going to still exhaust your server.
Can I use the authentication? Can I
Well, authentication is still there, but still your website is still open to the public to web surf it, right? Unless you just totally block your website to not give anything out, but not. Have you seen anywhere where Microsoft asks you to log into the main page of their website? No, right? You can just search whatever their products are. So you cannot just shut down your products. So this guy is attacking thousands of IP addresses, and now you're like clueless, right? Because, okay, you're going to block one IP, you're going to block this IP, but what about these other IPs address? You still have a problem, right? All right. So to counter that, let's clear all of this. To counter that, we have a little modern solution, which is now by default 95, probably more than that, % people, even individual level people, are using this type of techniques to do that. Because like I said before, we had this headache of DDoS, and we were just crying all day, like, what the hell is going on here? There's no way to fix this. So now there are other solutions too, but one of the more well-known solutions, and just to get a job and to know that you're going to get into a job and they're going to be using such solutions, expect something like CF, like Cloudflare. That's just one big company that you're going to definitely hear the name somewhere. So now you have CF, the same scenario. Attacker is right here. This is your company. This is a web server. And this is your website. How does it work? You have this guy right here with the laptop sitting here trying to attack your website. But what happens if this person is trying to attack your website, try to open it from, let's say, 1,000 IP addresses this guy have? What's going to happen? By this method that I'm
redirected?
Yeah, so not redirected, but this CF is in middle. So your website is actually running from here, and then it goes to the public. So all of this website, and you're right, like it's like almost similar as redirected, but it's going through Cloudflare, right? So it's going from the Cloudflare connection. So then Cloudflare have smart security in place to say, okay, you are not a good connection. You're being trying some malicious stuff. I don't like this because a lot of people complained about you before, or maybe I know because of my AI, I am telling you that you are not a good, this is not a good attack. This is not a normal traffic. So I'm going to basically block you, and I'm not going to let you even get to the server. So my server for the whole world is available right now. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So practically, if I show you something like this in a real example, this is how it's happening right now. This is a Cloudflare. And if somebody say, okay, you want to know the whole events from top level, these are the 24 hours worth of data, 1,669, and how many people got blocked? If let's say these were malicious IP addresses, how many people got blocked right now? 9, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can then go as an engineer, I can go and say, you know what? Some people are complaining in India. They're not able to access my website. So then I can troubleshoot that, because it's not going to be always 100% correct thing. You're going to have to go back and troubleshoot things. So I can go to the firewall rules, and I can actually see what's going on, from which country did it got challenged, or which country is complaining. So maybe I got a rule set up. So then I can go and change it. Like in 24 hours from Croatia, look at the amount of hits that it was hitting the website, and it got challenged how many times? So many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is where something you need to go. We talked about bots. So bots, like I said, some are good bots, some are bad bots, some are humans. So basically you can see these are humans. These are verified bots. These are Google and other places that you want your website to be indexed. And some are automated, and some are likely to be automated. So some can be blocked just by this system because maybe it's a bad bot, and that could go under the blocking. Look at the DDoS right here. It says right here, automatic mitigation. I mean, I never can pronounce this. Hefa, you can help me with this. Mitigation.
You said it right, by the way.
Yeah, okay. So HTTP-based DDoS, look at this, HTTP floods, all of that stuff is what? Being blocked by this feature right here. So I can configure it, right? I can come over here, change it. I can higher the sensitivity of that. And then it's protecting all of the requests that is going to go under that job skill share. And what is job skill share? Basically, it's running under a server, right? So I need to protect my server from that type of attacks. So you can see that how a modern world technology for security related works. If it was a normal agents, then another solutions, like for example, we have cloud solutions. Like this is a cloud solution right here, where you have an endpoint manager running from a website. This is like a cloud solution right now. So this application is under some data center that is, let's say, in Europe or US, somewhere in New York. But I can access the management piece of it. What I can do, I can actually go in there and I can go to the devices and I can basically install some of these devices, like right here, by going into bulk installation, and then do the Windows, Mac, or Linux, and then I can go into that real device. Let's say, this is the device right here. Let's connect to it quickly. I think it's having a little issue right here. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so just example, this would be like a system where I can just connect, install this package on it. So what will happen then? Then I can manage the security of this system from here then. So if that agent, somebody's going to the bad websites, opening bad links or trying to run applications, I can do a lot of control just because I have that agent installed on it. It can be anywhere all around the world. I mean, I can be somewhere in New York and your laptop could be somewhere in Japan, and you can open your laptop. As long as me and you can connect, your agent have internet connection, I will be able to control your machine, control its behavior, control its application behavior. I can recover things for you. I can restrain things for you. All of that stuff can happen like that. And that is where I think most of the companies are now moving. And that's why you have a Windows Defender solution from Microsoft. You have AMP, Advanced Malware Protection from Cisco. You have Symantec from Broadcom now. The company is bought by Broadcom, by the way. That's another solution right there. They have a cloud solution. There's so many solutions. So when you go into a company, you're going to face something like this. I hope this little, visual explanation helped you just to grab what we have covered so far.
Very helpful.
All right, Kamran, do you want to take over now?
Yep.
Thank you.
See?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, unfortunately, the issue was, continuously my antivirus was deleting that file, because when, of course, these application that comes with some kind of malicious activity, so that's why antivirus they were stopping it. So I had to forcefully allowed this application in my antivirus. So I hope we have this one. Can you see the application, or I need to share?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, disclaimer: if you do this, you have to go to jail. Okay, just...
Yep, sure. But that's why we are not gonna do it for some website or something. I will just play with my wireless router. So what I did at this point, you are familiar with the Wireshark as well, and I'm gonna enable local area connection as well, the packet sniffing. Okay, so I will just double click on this one, and you can see the activities are going on. So what I will do, let's suppose the IP for my router is 192.168.100.1, and I need to click on the log on. So it means this target has been logged on. So what kind of attack you want to launch? You have TCP, UDP, or HTTP. So let's use TCP, and then you can mention port and the thread, these threads, how many threads, and timeout. These all things you can select, and then you even can make it like speed slower and this kind of. So I will make it like this, and I will keep open my Wireshark. Meanwhile, just a minute. This as well. So as I will hit this, you will see what is going to happen. and I will stop. Did you see some change in a fraction of second? These you can see
that is so
these are all. I will stop it, and you can see these packets are generated. Sorry, not ACK. I can be more specific from where I started basically. From 100.3, basically this is the source of my machine is. If you want, we can use, for example, let's clear this one. We can start again, and this time we will launch only the UDP based, and you will see suddenly the effect. So UDP, the same IP, log on and click on that. So you can see how quickly the UDP packets are being generated. You can see. So I'm going to stop that one. So this is like, the attacks will be look like. You can see these are all, these packet sniffer is basically blocked by or occupied by UDP protocols, as you can see. Even no TCP communication, no HTTP communication is going on. So you can see in a fraction of a second how many packets have been sent. Let me stop this one. So you can take a look around how many packets.
6,271.
Yeah.
And another way is also you can use a command line, and you guys you have to learn the netstat command. If you do netstat-n-p space TCP, that also will show you the whole list of how many are established and how many are actually not established. So that is another easy way to find out. But Wireshark is probably more detailed than that.
Yep. So here you can see what I did. Basically, I just filtered that out because we had so many the other UDP information is going on as well. So if you want to distinguish, like as you can see, this UDP is going from my source to this destination, which basically is not attack. And you can check from here as well. Like this is the information or the legitimate information that is being shown here. Okay, but if I am more specific, what I can do, I know I generated this UDP flood attack from my source 100.3 to destination 100.1. So what you can do, you can right click and you can go on flow and click on UDP stream. And you can see what data is mentioned here. Goof edu. It means something suspicious is going on. If you select this one and this is byte information, you can see goofed. It means something is going on, some fishy is going on. Okay, so by sending these information or these UDP attacks to my router, if I try to access my router, the login page, I was not be able to do that because these UDP attacks were basically preventing me to access my login page. So this is how your TCP or UDP flood attack will be look like, and this is how you're gonna check from your Wireshark.
Kamran, is it possible for you to run that tool for keep it running and run that command? I just want to see what you will see on the command line. So if you just run it and open the CMD.
The CMD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just open your CMD and
Yeah, I will ping
type.
192.100.1 with -t. So this is how, yeah. So let's see the effect. Make it speed fast. TCP.
Are we trying to do netstat?
Yeah. I was actually gonna see how does the TCP connection looks on the netstat. So is there a way you can stop that command? Just go ahead and stop it, and
okay.
just type the netstat -n -p and -t like space TCP. No, not dash. Just sorry, space.
TCP. This is
and
how.
And run that tool now. Like you have to run the tool first.
Okay. So I'm gonna use TCP and the same 192.168.100.1. Or shall I mention? Okay, that's it. Shall I launch?
Yeah, launch it, and it should be doing. Yeah, just keep flooding. So let's just enter that. So you see how where it says let me go back here. Still not showing SYN receive. It should be showing a SYN receive or SYN send, something like that, because that should be a full one. I'm not sure why, but you guys see the whole IP address right there, like the first one. That's that your IP address, right? The one that's doing a flood.
Yep. So this is the source, and you can see how many random ports are being generated. Yeah. So look, if this is going to be your server, and you got attacked, and somebody's calling you, hey, look, we cannot do anything, and you come over here and you see one IP address is doing so many things, there's a problem going on, right? So this would be like, and then how would you block this IP address? Let's say you have no firewall right now, like outside network firewall. What would you do like quick right now? Like on this, let's say this is your web server. This Kamran machine is the web server, is critical, and it's one IP address. I want you guys as an engineer, give me a quick solution right now. How would you take care of this IP right now?
I'm scared to sound stupid, but like block it.
You block it. How? Where?
From the router? Nope.
Then it should say without using the firewall?
Without using like a network firewall. Let's say you are on this web server, you are on it right now, and it's just being attacked, and you have only like 2 minutes to solve this issue. I know it doesn't work that way, but remember, every machine have its own personal firewall, right?
Yes, and you say we don't use it.
I said not use the network one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I misunderstood that also. I was like, I don't know.
So now we have, of course, at network level, if you know where to go, that's great. But let's say you didn't know, and you are like, oh my God, man, this IP address is going to kill us. Let me first take care of it. So you can just go quickly to this machine and just block it like that on this machine, and boom, everything will be stopped, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you stop flooding yourself?
Yep. So any confusion until here? Did you get the idea how TCP Sync Flood looks like?
Yes, I mean, very good explanation. Yeah.
Okay,
and it's so easy to download these tools, to be honest. Everybody can just download it and do it. But I would warn people to, if you look at this right now, you're like, oh, let me download that from Google. You probably will download something to get hacked for sure, So
exactly.
Be very careful.
So I talked about the social engineering as well, and I said that social engineering is a term used for the broad range for malicious activity accomplished through human interactions. Okay, so we have humans; they are doing many kind of things, to manipulate. Like it use psychological manipulation to trick users into making security mistakes or giving away sensitive information. Like you have. Maybe you have come across with this situation, and somebody called from the bank, and that is not a legitimate person, but his accent or some kind of, with the help of information that is providing you, he or she will make you trick you into thinking that maybe this guy is from the bank, and maybe then he or she will ask for your bank details, and you will provide those information to them. So that is one kind of the social engineering, but there are so many. So the phase consists of identifying the goals in accordance, identifying the target necessary to fulfill the goal. So what they do, they gather the information, then they will do the preparation, then they will develop the relationship. Like they got the information about your bank detail, then they prepare all those details, and then they will develop a relationship by making a phone call. Then they will try to, after that getting he or she will try to exploit the relationship. He will go on debrief and do the goal satisfaction. So this is the main thing that he or she was looking for, his own satisfaction. So it does not only mean that social engineering, they just wants to get their hands on your credit card information or something like that, but it could be your personal information, or maybe the password, or maybe your images or folders or something like that. So that thing is known as social engineering, and also it is also known as reconnaissance attacks. So I'm going to give you very little a demo on social engineering as well. So the tool that I'm going to use is known as SAMSPADE. This is a very old tool, but if you are familiar that we have gone through, like who is lookup, okay, then tracer commands, okay, then some another very informative, the tools that we have used. This is like this tool comes with all-in-one solution. So I will go very quickly without wasting any time. So click on that tool. So this is how that tool will be look like. So here are the tools that you are gonna use for the social engineering. And this is where you will put the information about the website, like www.jobskillshare.org. For that purpose, I will use, let's say, my old company. Why I always use that name, because now this company is no more there and doesn't exist, and still the website is running. So first of all, we will try to ping. So click on the ping tool. So first we need to check whether this website is alive or no. As you can see, the ping is being generated. It means we have this website is up and running. Then we have, if you want to, if you have very good visuals, and even if you mouse over on that, it can mention DNS. If you want to know about the DNS information, click on that, and it will give you the DNS information about that one, the IP that is being used. Or then we have who is, just like who is information. It will give you in-depth detail about who is the registrar for this domain. Okay, so domain is dunif.com, and the registrar is the GoDaddy. When this website was created, when it is gonna expire, and these kind of details, Then this tracer is same like the trace route. It will show you how many hop counts that domain is away from you. As you can see, these are the total number of hops, and this is the time they took to reach this website. Then if you want to know about the information, like what kind of server it is running, you just need to click on this view raw website and click on OK, or you can go under even advanced and you can select what kind of like HTTP 1.1 you want to use, 1.0 or 0.9. So this is the latest. So I'm gonna use this one and click on OK. So this is a kind of social engineering. Like I started from the NIF, this website. First, I checked whether this website is there. No. Then I checked the DNS information. Then I went into the who is lookup information. What is the registrar, or where it is basically this website is parked or hosted. Okay. Then I did trace route, how far this website is from me. And then I went through the web. Basically, it is going to show me what kind of, as you can see, I do remember Plask is the control panel we were using to make changes into the website. Then, yeah, even it is showing the information about what kind of server it is using and what kind of platform it is using. Like this is running ASP.NET. If it is using here, this is using Microsoft IIS server, Internet Information Server. Opposed to that, it could be like Apache. And this one could be the PHP. So at least at this time, I am sure that what are the things that is running behind this domain. So I can be, more specific. Okay, and then these things are not important. Like if you want to, this is for a good purpose, not bad purpose. Like if you want to send somebody is abusing, and you can check what kind of abuse emails that is being used by this domain name, like abuse@www.net or abuse@net.com. So you can send information to this email to this network administrator. Okay, so this is like a spade tool. Further, if you want, you can go into tools and crawl website, and you can mirror the website as well. Yeah, like you can select the directory, include headers, include files, then what you need to search from the website, email addresses, hidden values, and these if they are linking to other servers as well. And you click OK. In case of that, whatever the contents this dunif.com is having, it will be copied into your local machine, just for the mirroring purpose. Another very good tool, I will show you on browser, which is known as HTT Rack. So as it is mentioned, HTT Rack website copier. So basically this tool will download the complete website. Means if it is not secure, by the way, if the website is not as much secure, you just need to put the relative information in these boxes, like www.jobskillshare.org, and click next. And if JobSkill they haven't took any good countermeasures, then this whole website will be downloaded on your host machine, so you can surf that website locally, just to gain information. This is, I am giving you information about the social engineering. Another very good tool you can use, Google. For example, these these are the scripts you can use to narrow down the search about anything. For example, since we can take site like jobskillshare.org. Okay, I just if I can increase the size. So this site is just kind of script that is being used in a Google for a social engineering. And let's say what you want to search in that website. Let's say file type. File type is PDF. And if I click, you can see there's, I don't know if this is confidential or no, but there are so many things that
blogs.
Okay,
I don't know. That one thing
that's
we get deleted, that what SSS or whatever that is just a template. People
we got you.
These are all blogs right there.
So this is how, just imagine how you can be like dig deep about any website. If you want, you can, like, for example, it is mentioned file type. If you go in detail, you will see some file will be attached. Okay. Then what you can do, for example, in text, we'll take same like PDF. So this will be like in text. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not equal, but this side. Okay. So there's so many things you can, you can search out just by using these things, scripts. So this is a kind of social engineering. Okay.
Yeah, and think about it, like the first example when we were using Spade, it depends on what do you want now, right? So now if you were a person to do social engineering, so what is the main thing that I want to do from you all? I want to basically, I want Christelle or I want Hefa to click on a link. So if Hefa, I know that that's your website, I know it's going to expire on this date, I know it's coming from GoDaddy, then how easy it is for me to really target you through some kind of fake email, put GoDaddy's template and say your website is getting expired. Look, you already 50% of the time you kind of like naturally will start trusting that because it has some valid information. So if I want you to click, then I'm going to use that type of data to create something for you. It's like targeted type of, and I think, I forgot the whole name of this. There's a specific name, people say that in security, I forgot. Smishing or I don't know, something like that.
Phishing.
Anyway, I think it's more, it's more than that. It's like another one, the targeted one has a different name. So it's like,
I think you're right. I think it's smishing. It's something that's very similar.
Yeah, it's something like that. So you guys can do that research, and these terms are important. Just sometimes people ask you in the interview, so some people may ask you that. And the second one is that, what if I wanted to target and hack your system? Right now, I'm not asking you to click on a link because maybe I don't want to go through that route. I just want to now directly attack and see what's going on. So what would be that thing? He just searched something very important. He showed you what server, what web server, what application is he using. So what would I do as an attacker? I would say, okay, IIS 10. What are the current vulnerabilities in IIS 10? And if I attack with those vulnerabilities randomly, maybe 50 vulnerabilities, and I attack it with those vulnerabilities, and you have not patched your system, what will happen? I'm going to break in, right?
You'll get through. Yeah.
Exactly. So trust me, it's like just so many ways people can get in if they want, if they have the target, but you have to do your part as an engineer to make sure that you are involved in that. So in some companies, you may be the one-man show and you have to do all this stuff. In some companies, you may be working with a security engineer and you have to do a little bit with them. So it's really up to the company and your job.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danish. So similarly, like, the Google, as I said, itself is a very good tool for social engineering. Like if I mention like site.hotmail.com and in text is password. So if I hit enter, if I want to search something and, it is being blocked. So did not match anything, something like that. But it is not like that, but there should be so many things. But, since Hotmail, it's a very crucial part or the application, that's why maybe it is being blocked or not shown any kind of matches. Otherwise, if you will type something else which I don't want to use, but you can do it from your own end, you can use this combination like site, in text, in URL, file type. Further, you can dig deep like file type Excel. If I'll do file type, let's see, file type PDF. No. So this is how I showed you with the job skill share when I did so many searches, came in with a lot of information. If you click on that, you will see some PDF files will be there. So this is how, the attackers, they dig deep further into that. Like they first went through the website using Spade tool. Now they are in a Google and they will search more about the file types. Maybe they will find some kind of credit card information or some kind of password information. And then they will make a call and they will try to, make you fool, something like that. Okay, then there is another very good social engineering tool. I'm going to show Internet Archive. And this is the domain of the website, archive.org. So basically what it will do, it will take you back to the history of that website. For example, somebody developed the website back in 2000, maybe 8, 2010, 2005. Okay, if you want, you can go back to that history and you can take a look of that. Let's try as well as .net.com and click browse history. So you will see the history like in 2020, there was a last modification of that website. And then in 2020, there's nothing going on. And when it started, as you can see, 2014, then 2015, some updates happened. Then 2016, 3 updates happened.
Can we check the job skill share website, the first website?
Yep, sure.
Let's see how funny that is. By the way, it was jobskillshare.com when we started. So 2013.
So shall I put .com?
Yeah, put .com. Let's see what happens if they have any data. I'm sure they have it because I used it before. Oh, yep. You see it goes to 2012. So let's see. So, are you guys ready to laugh?
So I think this is the one. This is the IP.
Oh my God. Let's see. Teach, learn, and share. Okay. Jobskillshare.com. I guess on the top is correct. All right, I'm about to go. Okay, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
So this is the first thing.
Wow, Danish, wow.
The key to finding what you want is knowing what you want. Wow. So I think, Danish, this is the first thing you put, yeah?
Yeah, this was actually a CMS running under PHP directly on a server. And at that time, I was actually alone doing this stuff. So I didn't know how to work with PHP. So I kind of really got stressed out and totally removed this whole structure. But it was like exactly the same thing, login, registered, and there's courses in there. And it was like all videos, just embedded videos.
Wow, that's fine. And you now see you in front of you that this is like we have gone in the back like 2012, yeah? Danish, 2012, I guess.
Yeah, and honestly, I have used this technique for sometimes even for companies, like they would say, oh, we're having some issue with this website and we don't see this specific link somewhere, and it has to do some weird. I don't know why we were getting involved as engineers, but sometimes you do need something like this just to go back. Is this person saying the correct thing, or do I have some kind of idea what this person is talking about? Okay, it can happen when there's a big upgrade that happens on website level, right? It could be like a major upgrade, and somebody's complaining about something right now. So how would you just kind of go back? Okay, you know what, this person's saying something and I have no clue how does even how did it even look? So I can go back and actually, okay, in 2018 last month when they did an upgrade, we had a snapshot of the website. I can at least see what he's talking about, right? Or she's talking about. So it's pretty good. I like this option.
And even, this is the positive aspect Danish elaborated, but if we take it in a negatively, the social engineers or the attackers, what they do, they will go back in the history and they will take out the data as well, what they were doing back in 2010 or 2005, or maybe they have put kind of some information like a password or something, or databases even. Okay, you can extract the information from that, and then you can use in 2021 website, maybe it will work. So something like that, Okay, so your social engineering part and here, and when we have network attacks demo. So this continuously, the slides will be just the practicals, and just I will give you information. What is this? So network attacks, and we know what network attacks could be. Like, for example, if we are running some DHCP servers, and the attackers, they can use this tool, which is known as Cia. I don't know if you are familiar with this or no. So this is this is a utility used in Linux. I have no idea whether this is a Windows based or no, but most of the time this comes with the Linux. So you can run on a Linux. If you have a Linux or a Kali Linux or a Backtrack Linux kind of operating system running on your laptop, just you can install this software and you can play with your home network. So what it will do, it will run some attacks against the DHCP, which I'm going to show you in the next slide, in the last slide, basically. And then we have other attacks, like we have already talked about STP, spanning tree protocol. So we have some kind of root bridge, which I will explain later on. Then we have CDP based attacks as well. Then we have like trunk, which is known as 802.1q based attacks. Okay, then we have like VLANs based attacks. I mean, this Cia tool is full of networking attacks. So STP Root Bridge. And I know at this time, maybe you are not good enough with the STP or the root bridge or these things, but in a very, layman examples, I'm gonna make you understand with this. What is it? For example, just ignore this thing. Just for the time being, ignore this thing, and this thing is connected directly with this switch. So for example, if this computer wants to communicate with this computer, one of the switch will be a king. Why? Because first of all, we talked about the looping in our switching environment. So these will be these switch will send some kind of probes, which is known as BPDUs, which will define which switch is going to be the king, which is known as the root bridge, basically. So some other ports, like if this switch is also there, and this is a, just a minute, let me remove this thing. So let's say this switch is become the root bridge or the king of this network. And if this computer wants to communicate, and even this cable is also attached, this computer wants to communicate with this server. So the possibility means the best option is this should go like this. Okay, but since this has become root bridge, So these two switches will be, will be going to this root bridge basically. So it means whatever the data will flow, it will go to the root bridge. So how the data will be move across, it will go like this, and then it will go like this. And what will happen to this port? And we know that when we have a redundancy, like this is a loop. If we have a redundancy, this will be a blocked. So that is the basic purpose. Now even this server or this admin wants to communicate with this user, it will always flow like this information. But what will happen here? Let's say this attacker is attacked in this switch and he's running that Yersinia. And he will run a kind of command that will make this guy a root bridge. Okay, so what will happen now? Before it was going through this, now all information will pass through this guy and then will hit these servers. So it means if this person is running Wireshark, so basically it is getting all the information that is going through this this switch basically. So basically this attacker will work like a root bridge switch. So all information from server to user or user to server will go or flow from the attacker, so he can become like man in the middle and can sniff all the information. Or he can do the denial of services attack as well. So in the next slide, sorry. So I'm gonna go to one tool that is known as EVNG. Just like I have already mentioned about these simulators, like Packet Tracer, we have Packet Tracer, we have this EVNG, then we have GNS3 as well. I'm so comfortable using EVNG because you can develop the topology on a fly, and you can run any kind of operating system or application on that. I will show you that as well. So I have already in the background, those services are running because they usually take a lot of time. So that's why in the background, those things are running. Just a minute.
So this is EVNG.
Yep, this is EVNG. If I can show you in the EVNG, the website.
Okay.
So because it was running for so long, so that's why. So I just need to refresh this one, or even need to. Okay, just a minute. I need to start this again. So these platform will be accessed using the IPs. Danish, please, can you pause the video? Meanwhile, I will restart because these are the things, issues with the.
Danish?
Okay, no problem. I'm just gonna restart this. As you can see from here, we have this VMware machine, and I just installed this Eve community VM machine on top of that. So this is how it will look like. Just it's one standalone application that will run on Eve community. And then after that, so this is good, this is how you got in act of the process as well. So you can see it is mentioned as use HTTP 192.168.31.130. So this is the URL. This is a URL to access this EVE-NG website. So from here, just hit enter. There is one workaround as well. I need to just disable these. If it doesn't work, just disable these VMware adapters. So this is a troubleshooting part as well for you. And again, you can see it stopped. So it's giving some error, no problem. Meanwhile, I will show you this EVE-NG website. And you can see there's so many things going on. And if you want to download, you need to click on the download, and then you can click the OVF compatible. You can download the ISO images as well. This is EVE-NG Professional, but what I am using is, which is free version of Eve Community Edition. Okay, so you can download from these mega mirrors like OVF, and then you can run on your VMware device. So the link is up, and I hope this will work this time. Okay, so the topology, I have already made it ready for you. This is simple, just Linux machine. So I have downloaded the OVF or the image for this Linux and uploaded into this EVE-NG. Similarly, the switches as well. So if you want to access, just right click and click on the node. And then, as you can see, I have Cisco ASA Firewall, CSR 1000V, IPS. These all devices are installed on my this EVE-NG machine. So to run this one, just right click and click on the start. Right click, click on the start. So Linux usually take a little bit time. So click on the switch and click on the application. So just like in a packet tracer, you double click to open the iOS environment. So meanwhile, if, since we are here and it is running, let's click the Linux device and click here. So that is the reason, I like EVE-NG, because this is, very quickly you can establish the network topology. If you want, I can click deploy another machine and I can connect these things. So this is the same kind of operating system that we have been working in a packet tracer, but this is a little bit advanced. Like, even CCIE level, the CCNP, CCIE level, we can run all kind of commands that you cannot do in your Cisco packet tracer. So enable the same, like if you are familiar with the packet tracer, you can do the same thing here as well, because the operating system is same, only the platform is different. Okay, then I can check like show IP interface brief, how many interfaces I have on this switch. So basically, this switch is a multi-layer switch, MLS, which means it is a router plus switch. So we have both things are inside this device, which is known as multi-layer switch. So it means you can run routing protocols on this switch, and you can do all switch-based technologies like spanning tree protocol, VLANs, and everything on this. So let me check if we have Linux machine is ready. No. So it takes a time. That's why, you know, I wanted to pause this, no problem. And we can wait. Danish, show you here. Hefa and Crystal, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. You know, actually, really, I made this ready behind the scene, but maybe it took like 1 or 2 or so. These processes, you know, just kept on waiting. So that's why they disconnected automatically. Yeah, you can see it is booting up, but it is taking so long. I wish if it will be done very quickly. So yeah, so it is done. So we have this Linux machine ready. Just click this one, and the by default password for EVNG is 123. So Crystal and Hefa, are you familiar with the Linux platform operating system?
Yes.
That's great. That is good. So the first thing that we're going to do is Stp Root Bridge. So what we will do, instead of having this attacker, we will have a Linux machine here, which will be running the software or the tool, Is Cia. And we will enable that Stp Root Bridge attack that basically will make this device a root bridge. So before maybe, or let's say this switch was a root bridge, means this was the king. All information used to go through like this. But when this attacker will become the root bridge, now this information will go like this. Okay, so to check the networks, we can go under, actually this is running very slow. Actually, you know, since I installed, downloaded these cybersecurity related softwares or the tools, this is making some issues for me. Connection drop, trying to connect. There is something going on behind the scene.
Cameron, why didn't you install it in its own environment? I see this is directly on your machine.
Sorry, where?
Why didn't you do this in its own environment, like in its own virtual box or virtual machine?
Before I was using virtual machine, but in virtual machine, basically, as I said, you cannot create the topology. You can, but visually you cannot show it. Like in EVNG.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And another thing, every time you save that topology and when you rerun from the GNS3, maybe you have some network kind of issues. So that is the reason, I migrated to this EVNG, and to be very honest, it was working very fine. And I don't know, this is happening like 2 or 3 days back, these things, issues.
It's just our luck, no problem.
No. Even I'm not able to run some kind of applications. So let me quickly close these all things. Maybe they are taking some resources. Let me disable. Okay, so let me go again, and I will run this VM machine again. I hope this thing will work. Otherwise, Hefa and Crystal, what we can do, like, what I did in the last module, like I recorded the video as offline, and I will share the information. I will not miss this part, by the way, there is no excuse from my side.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so the IP is 192.168.31.130. Then I will just very quickly do this. Need to go that 192.168.31.130 and click on this one, start and start. Actually, the problem is my disk is full. So there are so many things are coming from this C drive, because it's almost 2.16 GB is free. And so this is, the making issues. So, so Hefa and Crystal, we will, there are 3 labs, by the way. DHCP starvation, 802.1q trunk, and Stp Root Bridge attacks. So what I will do, I will free out some space from my C drive, and I will do these 3 labs offline, and I will share these things with you.
That sounds good.
So let's hit the last topic, the VPN. Yep. So without wasting any moment, let's talk about the VPN, since Hefa talked so much about the VPN. So I thought I should add this as well. And by the way, in your test out lab, you're going to learn about the VPN, virtual private network as well. And then they will do one lab as well for that. So that is very helpful. So basically, what is a virtual private network? As I said, it has nothing to do with the like security or something like that. Basically, it is hiding your information that is going through your public infrastructure. Okay. Even the attackers can use the VPN as well. They can hide their information, then they can reach your system as well. So it has nothing to do with that. So it is saying virtual private network extend a private network across a public network and enable users to send and receive data across shared public network as if their computer devices are directly connected. I do remember in my one of the company I was working from home, they had given me kind of open VPN facility, and they provided me with like username, password, and the site name which I need to connect. Okay, but before this I need to connect to the VPN. If some of you have worked with this, you might be familiar. Just like you are going to connect like wireless access point, you will connect the VPN. So once you are connected with their network, you will choose Open VPN and you will mention your credentials, and then you will be connected to their site. Just like I am sitting at my home, but I will feel like that I am connected to their all applications running on my computer. So this is one of the main benefit of using virtual private network. So from here, you can see you are sitting here. This is the internet, and maybe you are accessing some kind of application, but this time you are using what? VPN tunnel, VPN. So basically it is a security. So attackers, they are trying to do it. Even the IDS, I forgot to mention, IDS even cannot detect the VPN. So whatever the information that is going through, that will be invisible to these outsiders. Even the government cannot see. So also I have mentioned the diagram, like this is like a site-to-site VPN. This is your one site. Let's say this is your headquarter A, and this is your another site. This is located in USA, and let's say this is located in Australia. So this will be a site-to-site VPN connectivity. Basically, whatever the devices that are connected here, when they are trying to reach this headquarter, it will be like they are locally connected. And why they need VPN? Because they are using public infrastructure, which is a cloud. So you do not want some attackers or hackers sitting in the public infrastructure or ISP, and they are peeping into your information. So this is site-to-site VPN. Then we have a remote VPN. Remote VPN, just like, as I gave you example that I'm sitting at my home and I could easily access the information that is either located on this portion or even this portion. Then we have SSL VPN, Flex VPN. These are the other flavors of the VPN. So SSL VPN basically just like Open VPN. Open VPN is one of the example. They will provide you all detail and information. You can sit at your home and you will run this application. It will be a web-based application basically. and then you can access whatever the resources they have permitted you to access. The most common protocols that are being used are IPsec and the SSL TLS. For the IPsec, that basically is being used for the site-to-site or remote VPNs. And for this SSL TLS, they are used for Ssl VPN and for even the remote VPN as well. So if I don't want to give you a lot of information about VPN, because we will cover this in CCNA about this VPN, but just for flyby information and just for the sake of knowledge, IPsec basically have two phases. The second one is known as the IPsec phase, phase 2, and this is known as, the first one is known as Is Cia phase 1. So if the phase 1 is established, only then phase 2 will work. If this is not done, this will be failed. So what are these Is Cia phase or IPsec phase? So basically, for site-to-site VPN, what you need to do, first of all, you are going to create the secure tunnel. This is like a secure tunnel. Secure tunnel. After you will create the secure tunnel, then only you will pass information inside this tunnel. That will come under IPsec phase 2. So site-to-site VPN dependent on these two phases, Is Cia phase and IPsec phase 2. So basically what happens in Is Cia phase, we have to do with, as I told you, we have Cia Triad, confidentiality, integrity, and authentication or availability. So you have to mention what kind of hashing you are going to use. Either is it Md5 or SHA. Okay, then what kind of encryption you're going to use? Which could be like Ddos, triple Ddos, or AES, which is advanced encryption standard. Basically, this is the one that is being used because these have become now obsolete because these have been compromised. Then you will use group. What kind of Diffie-Hellman group you're gonna use? Usually you are gonna use like 2, 4, something like that. Okay, so in the combination of these things, that will make your Is Cia phase 1. Similar things you're gonna do in the IP phase 2. And what I said earlier, Is Cia phase is just creating your tunnel first. So these things are helpful in creating the tunnels. And by the way, whatever hashing, encryption, or group you are going to provide here, you are going to provide on the other side as well, in the site-to-site VPN. So for example, we have these two routers and we want to enable, like there is a ISP. This is somewhere for location, and I want to enable the site-to-site VPN on that. So as I said, we will go through two phases. One is Isaac MP. And another one is IPsec. So whatever the security mechanism of the protocol being used here, for example, you are using SHA here. Okay, then you are using AES here. Then Diffie-Hellman group you are using too. So whatever the information you are using in Isaac MP phase here, on the other end, you need to just mirror that one. If you are using 2 here, you are using SHA here as an encryption, but hashing you are using like MD5. Your Isaac MP phase 1 will not be created, will not be initiated, and side-to-side VPN will be failed. Similarly, in phase 2, you will go through the same process. Like this is for the data protection. This is for the tunnel. So same you will use, for example, you're going to use AES and you're going to use SHA. And then there will be one password that you will share with the other end, this one. So same mirror configuration will be done here. And then your site-to-site VPN site basically will be up and running, and then you can pass on whatever the information you want to. So if you have any confusion until here, apart from 3 labs which I mentioned earlier that unfortunately due to this EVNG is failing because I have a less space in my hard disk, and that is most probably is the reason and the culprit. Otherwise, I would have gone through these all labs. And if you have any confusion until here, please do ask.